All right. How are you guys? I hope that it's going well. I am going to take some time here to read a little bit to you. Um, so get ready. All right. So this is chapter 11, section 1. When you are done, you are going to have to answer some questions on a Google form. So for chapter 11, section 1, I'm going to read to you this section. Then you are going to listen to a discussion by Mr. Greenwald, Mr. Howden, and I, and then you are going to do a couple activities. All right? So that's the plan for the first part of the week. The second part of the week, you are going to do chapter 11, section 2. Okay, so here we go. So if you look up here, there's key terms, public policy, unitary system. Those are your two key terms. We've got under federalism, this main idea. Under federalism, some powers are reserved for the states, some are shared by the states, and some federal government and some are reserved for the states and some for the federal government. Anyway, sorry about that. I was distracted. So here we go. Here's the start of the chapter. If your public school had problems, would you write to the president? Probably not, because most of the laws and policies that affect public schools are made by state and local governments, not by the government in Washington, D.C. In fact, our state governments carry out much of the work of meeting citizens' needs. These governments have the primary responsibility for public education, transportation, health, and safety. So now we're on public policy. Consider the following problems. You have homework due tomorrow and your favorite TV show is on tonight. It's one problem. The second one, drivers aged 16 to 21 have a much higher accident rate than do other groups of drivers. The first situation is a private problem, since you are the person who must decide whether to do your homework or watch TV. The second situation affects many people, therefore, it's a public problem. It's kind of like if you had the flu, that's a personal problem. But with the coronavirus going around and affecting so many people, that's a public problem. Okay? All right, so we're going to keep going. Public policy issues. If people do not agree on the solution to a public problem, issues arise. An issue is a point of conflict or a matter of debate. When people ask government to help solve a public problem, the issues that arise become public issues. Government responses to public issues is known as public policy. Although all levels of government set public policy, the policy set by the state and local governments often affect your life most directly. Public policy choices. In making public policy, government officials must make choices and trade-offs. You too must make choices when deciding which solution to support. Solving public problems requires the effort of the people we elect to public office. Keep in mind that solving public problems also requires that individual citizens take responsibility for their actions. The key to finding and carrying out solutions to the public problems that face us lies in the joint cooperation of government, community, and individuals. Okay, so for example, the coronavirus. So I'm done reading for a second. So the coronavirus, when you're thinking about it, the government has set policy. So the government has closed the schools. The government has closed the bars and the restaurants. The government has asked us to shelter in place, to stay home. And then we, the community, have to abide by that. Like we are supporting it by getting behind like the food shelf, helping the food shelf. We are helping one another. We just got done going down for a ride downtown, and there were hearts all over in the windows, supporting, letting people know that there's love in our community. And then we as individuals have to take care too. We have to do what's right. We get to make choices. So when we're solving public problems, we all have to be part of it, the government, our community, and us as individuals. All right, so now I'm going back to the book, to federalism. Some delegates at the Constitutional Convention argued that only a strong national government could handle the problems facing the country. Other delegates wanted the states to keep most of the power. In trying to bring together these points of view, the framers settled on the system of federalism. Federalism is the system that divides some powers between the national and state governments while allowing them to share other powers. The Constitution lists the powers of the national government. They include the powers to declare war and to make treaties with other countries. Powers of the states. The Constitution does not specifically list the powers of the states. Instead, the 10th Amendment gives to the states all powers not given to the national government or not denied to the states. Powers that the states alone hold include the power to set up local governments, conduct elections, set up public school systems, and oversee businesses. The states also make laws such as traffic laws that protect public health and safety. Shared powers. The national government and state governments also share many powers. They both collect taxes, borrow money, set up courts, enforce laws, and punish lawbreakers. Unitary government. A unitary government, a more common system of government, is the unitary government. That's a government in which practically all political power lies with a central government. A large and diverse country like the United States would be difficult to serve with a unitary government, however. Going on. Federalism in action. Some people think of federalism as being like a layer cake. In this view, layers of government, national and state, are seen as separate, but with different powers. In action, however, federalism is more like a marble cake, with the powers mixed and overlapping. The way the powers of national government and state governments mix and overlap is not set. Some people press to keep the national government out of what they see as the state's business. Others think that the national government's power over the states should increase. Power to the states. Those in favor of states' rights feel that state governments can serve their people better than the national government can. State governments, they argue, should be allowed to fit laws and programs to the particular needs of their citizens. Powers to the national government. Those who favor a strong national government point out that the opportunities in different states are not always equal. For example, some states might spend more money per student for education than other states. Thus, critics of states' rights argue the national government needs to play a stronger role to ensure equal opportunity in all the states. Some problems are too big for individual states to solve. Following the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001, Congress took over the job of overseeing airport security. It believed that the task of airport security was too important for any state or private company to manage. Supervising airport security represented a huge increase in the role of the federal government. Whether providing security for airports or building a dam, some tasks cost more than a state can afford. The state needs the help of the federal government. Sometimes, too, a problem involves several states. For example, if a state's factories are causing pollution in another state, the federal government may help to step in. Okay, so now we are going to pause and we will pick up on section 2 later.